Hello guys, SuperBearNeo here. Today I'm about to do a special video. So you know that Kratos video I made of regarding how I don't have Kratos at like what universal or multi-universal slash low multiversal. Um, well apparently some guy named Kratos, literally his fucking name, decided to respond to my video, which is all cool and all, really cool and all, but here's the thing. What makes this video special is I just now realized that that guy named Kratos, um, we have history together, and like this is the first encounter that I've had with this dude. For some of you who's followed me on like what the fucking underground YouTube debater scene, I had a debate with this dude. I had a debate with this dude regarding Kratos, and it was it was uploaded by a dude named Shin, who made it was like a 3-part video. Basically, it was a long ass debate that I had with the dude. But yeah, this is the first time I had a debate with this dude. Um, yeah, like basically we had the same discussion, and I had pretty much the same agreements. So pretty much everything this dude has said isn't really new to me. And just to give you an idea about who I'm going up against, well, let me just play this clip.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say was that's literally the aspect, the physical.
That's the concept. It's the fucking concept.
It was the form, not the immaterial
Concept, you fucking dunce. Watch the video.
So that aside, so yeah, that's pretty much an idea of the kind of dude that I'm kind of facing here. With that said, let's get right into the debunk because I'm curious to see what this dude has for me. Okay, so let's get into this shit.
So I'm going to be doing a video on a debunk video. It's going to be one of those kind of videos. I just wanted to try and record something so it's not going to be that much editing or anything. It's just going to be one of those go through videos. Yeah. This video comes from SuperBearNeo, and the title is Kratos is Universal or Above. Yeah, right. Now, before we actually get into the debunk, I'd like to state that my friend here, he's in the call with me. He won't be speaking right now because sadly I can't record his input, but he helped me basically go through this video. Like, he showed me some of the things because my internet's been down for a couple days, so he helped me out with noticing this video, basically, right? And he goes through and basically says Kratos is universal or above, and he tries debunking claims from God of War 3 and the current game. Okay, so we're just going to be going through this and debunking his, in quotation marks, debunks. Alright? So he starts off with his fucking gay intro.
That's a pretty professional start, I must say. Gay ass intro. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that pretty hurt my feelings, man. I mean, damn, I put so much time into that intro. Anyways, I'm gonna continue on.
We'll just get past that. Let's turn that down. I don't want to hear that gay shit. So he mostly writes down his arguments as well because he's too scared to use or show his beta voice. So you can just read it. Yeah, he says
Well, for the record, I'm not scared to use my voice, as you can see here. It's just because, one, I didn't have the mic at the time, and two, well, because, I just really didn't bother to use my voice until later. But I'm not scared to use my voice, and besides, you should get used to my voice anyways, because it's the last thing that you heard before I clapped you in our debate. But that's a whole nother discussion, whatever, yada yada, let's continue.
First claim, the 9 realms of Norse mythology are separate universes in God of War. and this is the claim he's trying to debunk. I know I said you can read it, but I'm going to be reading out his claims, or the claim. In this scan here that he's trying to show, it says time doesn't move the same between all realms, especially when the spirit world is concerned. Spirit world being Helheim, right? This is actually a misused scan. This is a scan for the realm tears that he can close as challenges. You can try and use this, but this doesn't really help prove the argument. Okay, first debunk, right up here, he goes, the 9 realms are likely not universal in size given the fact it runs heavily on Norse belief. This is significant because the Norse weren't fully aware of the full scope of the universe. Their version of cosmology ranges to be solar system sized at most. Okay, first problem with the first debunk, in quotation marks, that he does, is trying to appeal to reality based off of the Vikings and what they believed in. First of all, this is a completely retarded debunk.
Okay, so here's your first argument, and it's already a bad one. For starters, appeal to a reality, it's not a real fallacy. No matter how hard you try to think it is, it's not a real fallacy. Not only does it have any logical substance to it, the thing I'm trying to say is it's not a real fallacy. For something to be a fallacy, it has to have a logical error in it. It has to have some sort of logical contradiction. Appealing to reality has no logical error in it within the quote-unquote fallacy. So it's not a real fallacy. It's just something that you made up. For example, if you want an example of how you can tell a fallacy out, let's look at perhaps, I don't know, let's look at slippery slope fallacy. There's a reason why a slippery slope fallacy is a fallacy. It's because the logical backing basically the logical backing is, if you assume something without too much evidence and just trying to basically jump to conclusions, well, the logical error is there's no substance to really go to that conclusion, so you're just jumping to it based on little substance and stuff. That's an example of a fallacy. There's a logical error within that thing. Appeal to reality doesn't have a logical substance or anything. It's not a real fallacy. So why you try to bring it up? It has no purpose. So moving on.
It makes no sense. You can't try, like, this is a fictional verse in God of War, right? The creators even state themselves that they use their own interpretations as well, right? And they sometimes go based off of Norse mythology, okay? Or Greek mythology. Like, they get the ideas, the gods, etc. But they change the story to suit their fictional verse, okay? So just because it doesn't add up to what, God of War is saying, but just because God of War doesn't add up to what the Norse Vikings believed in, doesn't mean that it's false. Because by this own fucking logic, it wouldn't make sense for the Marvel realms to be, separate realms or planets or universes, right? Because based off of his logic. So, it's really stupid.
Okay. So, first off, your argument was an association fallacy, and here's why that. Marvel is not an applicable excuse here because, well, the Marvel universe, they're proven to be more so than the Norse mythology, cosmology. God of War doesn't have that. In fact, it's further proven by the fact that, the realms have, like, fucking entire stars and shit. Like, yeah, that's more substance to my point. The realms, the actual realms of Norse mythology were no different. So basically, this is further proves my point. It doesn't really contradict anything I stated. Marvel, on the other hand, it establishes its realms as actual universal in size, and also unlike God of War, it's separated by space and time. I'll get into that later because I'm sure you mentioned that. Another thing I have to mention is I didn't say that the realms are like based on Norse mythology just because it doesn't add up. No, I stated that because, well, there's a lot of evidence to support that, and I mentioned that. I don't just say that since they're based on Norse mythology, it's gonna be solar system level. No, that's proven. That's literally suggested. The realms themselves are just, they're not full on universes, and I also explain the full implications of that as well. So your argument is not only an association fallacy, but it's just outright wrong. So yeah, go on.
The nine realms aren't separated by space and time. They are essentially one super huge realm that are all connected among Yggdrasil. This is further proven by the fact all stars are embers that flew from the forges of Muspelheim to the skies. At the most, the realms would be multi-solar system size. Okay, so here's another problem. He goes, they aren't separated by space and time, even though it's stated in the novel and in the game that they are all on different planes of existence, right? The only place where they would coexist would be on the literal Yggdrasil itself, but he's sort of taking it out of context. So it's not really one huge realm, because even on the Yggdrasil, when you're traveling through the realm between realms, you see these huge bubbles above the stand.
Okay, so let's get on to the fact that just because they're separate planes of existence doesn't mean they're separated by space and time. That doesn't change the fact that it could just be one huge realm that contains layers in it. If you want a prime example of that, look no further than hell from Christianity. It's literally one huge realm, but it has different circles, which are, well, different planes. They're not really separated by space and time, so it's not really entire universes. It's still one super huge realm. So, like, the thing is, there's nothing to suggest that the nine realms don't follow the same kind of type of logic here. Like, yeah, like, unless, like, you do realize to even be, like, 2C, two realms have to be separated by, like, space and time. If they're not even separated by space and time, then it's just considered, at most, low 2C or free A. So, regardless, just because they're different planes of existence doesn't mean they're really universal in size, especially when nothing really suggests that. And also, when literally there's many examples that just outright prove that's wrong, as mentioned with hell, an entire place that's separated in circles, but still not really a mini multiverse. So yeah, you're still wrong, but continue.
Or hovering above an Yggdrasil branch, right? And those are the realms that you see when traveling through the realm between realms, which is the gateway that Brock helps fix for you. And it's stated that what's his name? Surtur, yeah, my bad. It's stated that Surtur created all the stars, right? So he's sort of trying to use real myth in this fictional, hypothetical version of the myth that the Norse believe.
Well, for one thing, you do realize that there's several portraits, and also, if I recall correctly, statements of Surtur actually existing in it. And also, there's also a lot of evidence that it goes by the same myth as well. So, yeah, I have every right to mention that. And also, furthermore, this is just a multi-solar system level feat, as I suggested again. So, you're still dead wrong.
And I'd also like to point out that he doesn't really provide any scans for his claims.
Well, the thing is, since I'm refuting something that's quote-unquote right, using a logical point that pretty much debunks that from a logical standpoint, it still counts as, well, proving you wrong. So yeah, regardless, just because I don't have scans doesn't mean it doesn't point out the logical holes in your argument. By your logic, I can't use like fucking math in an argument, because literally, like, I can't use math to substantiate the point that fucking gravity exists, even though math is like one of the key things that also prove that gravity is actually a substantiable existing thing. But by your logic, I can't use that because the numbers themselves don't show that the gravity exists. That's literally the type of logic you're using here.
His statement here is also proof that they aren't true universes, as they not only are sharing the same space, but are only separated so again, as I show you the full screen, all the realms exist. All the realms exist in the same physical space, reflections of each other, referring to the same area on the Yggdrasil's branches. And they're separated by the light of Alfheim, because you need the light of Alfheim to travel through these specific verses.
Okay, so literally you're telling me that it's not literally separated by space and time, which literally is needed for separate planes of existence to be counted as universal in size, or in order to even be at least 2C, which is where I'm pretty sure you have them at least, probably higher, to my luck. But yeah, to even at least be 2C, these realms have to be separated by like space and time. Since they're not separated by space and time, they don't count as space-time continuums. So busting them doesn't really count as a 2C or higher feat. It's just, well, whatever the size of the realms themselves are. So basically, you're just proving my point, right?
And it's actually stated that the Unity Stone's a bit different, but that's the only item that can be used to travel like to different pantheons. The light of Alfheim, or the key of Alfheim that Kratos uses, is the only thing, or one of the only things, to travel between the realms, or separate universes. So it's taking things out of context.
How so? Literally, this entire scam proves that if to cross the realms, you don't have to cross space and time, you just have to cross the physical barrier. Okay, but that barrier is not space and time. It's not separated, so it's not really a space-time continuum as opposed to just one huge space, as I stated beforehand. So, yeah, this is not a 2C construct. It's like, at the very most, you could highball it to say it's like 3A or something, but that's it. No higher than that.
The realms are not universal sized, and at the very most multi-solar system size, possibly lower for reasons I'll get into later in the video in another section. Yeah, okay. You see the claim. Yep, that's what Freya said. Before I get into this though, he brings it up later in the video, but I'd like to get by it now. There's actually more scans from Mimir and such where Mimir states what happened in the future. Right before she says this, she mentioned, like, so again, it's sort of, in this, he should have been showing it, even though he doesn't show what Freya said before this later on. But Freya said that out of nowhere one day, the world serpent just appeared out of nowhere, which lines up with the story that Mimir said about how in the future, Thor and Jormungandr fought and they splintered the Yggdrasil, just as a side effect from fighting, while not even being in the same physical space as the Yggdrasil. But yeah, after that, Jormungandr was hit back in, he was sent back through time through a rift that opened up after they destroyed the Yggdrasil. And then, this is when, after that she says, soon after, Thor attacked and their battle could be felt across all the realms. So a weakened Jormungandr fighting a past version of Thor.
Okay. So, I'll get into the whole Splinter thing later, but I'll give a brief summary, well, not brief summary, but a brief preview of what my argument is. Okay, so the thing is, you mentioned the whole thing where they were fighting and it pretty much splintered the world tree, but you do realize that that's not a quantifiable amount of damage to the, like, Yggdrasil. The thing I'm trying to get at is, yes, a splintered tree does look pretty fucked up, but that's not enough to quantify how much of the, Yggdrasil has been fucked up. So, the thing is, it's not really much of a quantifiable thing because, well, it doesn't quantify how much of the realm was destroyed. It just tells us that it was, like, affected. Okay, that's like saying that, someone pierced the universe. Okay, that's not really a universal feat. I mean, we affected the universe, yes, but it's not a quantifiable amount of the universe, so it's just not really a usable feat. Or it's like the time, it's like the fucking time that, fucking, what else? Fucking, the Suns from Star Wars, they put a fulcrum in the Force, aka the universe. Okay, but that's not really much of a quantifiable amount of the universe, as I said. So, it's just not really usable. So, trying to use that here to say that that's a 2C feat, that's kind of dumb, because we don't really get a quantifiable amount of the Yggdrasil that was destroyed. So therefore, this argument is just pointless. It's not really quantifiable. It's just wrong.
Having enough power to be felt across all realms is unquantifiable and doesn't even remotely equate to AP. This at best merely shows that Thor has cross-dimensional range and nothing more. So again, with that, it states that it can be felt throughout all realms, most likely due to the people feeling it, in those realms, like the elves, right, in Vanaheim, Freya, right, as this was back like hundreds of, less, maybe a bit more than 150 years ago, okay, because when Kratos showed up 150 years past to the extent where we are with him right now, right? But this happened many, many years ago. The realms share the same physical space. This feat isn't as impressive as affecting the realms. Isn't that hard due to their close position to one another along the tree? Okay, so it's very different because they're all different space-time continuums. Mia said they have different time spaces, right? And he literally refers to hell as the spiritual realm or world, right, which is being separate. And the physical space is referring to the bubbles on the Yggdrasil's branch, right? You can't physically leave those without, the key to the Bifrost, for example, or the Unity Stone.
Okay. So for starters, you bring up the whole space-time continuum thing. I already explained why that's wrong. Literally, they're not separated by space and time. In fact, all you have to do is just cross the barrier or light just to get to the realms. That's not really cross-universal, nor does it make them entire universal space-time continuums. So at best, it's just a pocket dimension. Well, a very huge one, but still not really a universe. And on that same note, I'd also like to mention the fact that you brought up that time. They mentioned time flows differently between the realms. You do realize that the way the Norse perceive time, and it's also extended to the Greeks as well. Well, not even just the Greeks, most other religions or beliefs at the time. Literally, they don't perceive time the same way that we do. In fact, their perception of time or awareness of it is so much lesser than how we perceive it now that it's not even really, it doesn't really make a difference here. So, yeah, there's time, but okay, it's not really the same type of, it's not really perceived the same way we do it. It's not.
And here's what I said earlier, he brings up this. Shakes the tree of life so much that it splinters. It's never actually established how much of the Yggdrasil they affected, nor the amount of damage it took. This is borderline unquantifiable due to how little we know that they affected. At most, this would be 4A feat if we assume Yggdrasil was majorly affected or destroyed someone. Okay, so I think you're blatantly trying to ignore wording and evidence with the words of the man. He said they splintered the tree. Okay, if you don't know what a splintered tree is, I'll actually get it up for you right now.
Okay, so before he even brings up the whole splintered tree thing, I kind of mentioned this beforehand, but the thing is, a splintered tree still doesn't give us a quantifiable amount of how much of Yggdrasil got destroyed. As I mentioned beforehand, it's like saying that someone should be 3A just because they pierced the universe. Or someone should be low 2C just because they can place a hole in space and time. it really doesn't matter whether they can affect it. It's a matter of how much they can, which is what qualifies for a tier. This, on the other hand, they don't even quantify how much of the tree was destroyed. We know it was affected. Okay, that's cool and all, but that's not really warrant of a tier. Hence why I say it's borderline unquantifiable. The only way this would be a quantifiable if we assume that Yggdrasil got like massively fucked up during this, which we don't know. Just saying that it's like splintered and dust, all like most of Yggdrasil was affected. No, that's fallacious. Not only is like what a splintered tree doesn't really give us an idea of how much Yggdrasil was destroyed. It's just making a huge assumption on the fact that we assume that all realms were affected when, for one thing, literally just a section of what a realm could be affected or something, not the entire Yggdrasil construct. So still unquantifiable, or at least not really too seaworthy.
In case people don't know, sorry for the changing screens. In case people don't know, this is what a splintered tree is. So as you see, a splintered tree is a consistent tree that has been utterly and completely fucked. So for you to say that it's unquantifiable and that you don't know how much of the tree was affected, you need to be a complete retard or oblivious to the definition of what a splintered tree is. And you know what a splintered tree is because I've fucking debated you before on it and I showed you what a splintered tree was.
And you got stomped on that debate, so why you feel the need to bring it up is beyond me. Furthermore, like I said before, a splintered tree, that's not a quantifiable amount of the tree destroyed. For all we know, a small section could be splintered, much less the whole tree. Like, you're literally making a huge assumption from a little statement, basically. As I said before, by this same logic, we can say that someone is like low to see just because they can pierce through space and time, even though that's just hacks and not pure force. So yeah, this is not quantifiable. Don't play yourself, my dude.
This feat is destined to happen, and in fact didn't happen yet. It essentially happens in the future. The thing is, the timeline has shown that it's taking a different direction from what originally happened to cause this event. Regardless, this feat wouldn't be 2C for reasons above. Again, this is a retarded claim. It all lines up with what Freya said of how the serpent literally appeared one day out of nowhere after Mimir said, or with later Mimir stating, that he just disappeared and was sent back in time. Okay? The whole story lines up, and you're just blatantly and purposefully being ignorant.
No, I'm actually not. During the course of this entire game, literally Kratos is preventing the shit from happening. That's why he's peeling up all the, well, I should say peeling, sealing up the realms and shit. It's not going directly the same way that it did to cause this event. Hence why I said it's destined to happen and it didn't happen yet. And like I said before, even if we were assumed that it did happen in the past, it's still not quantifiable for the reasons that I mentioned beforehand. So regardless, you're still wrong. You're completely wrong this time. So yes, I don't understand why you feel the need to bring this up.
All you're trying to do, you're clearly letting your own personal emotions get in the way.
No, I'm not letting my personal emotions get in the way. If that was the case, then my argument would stem from my belief and not literally in shown stuff or logic. Yeah. So you're just assuming that I'm stemming from emotion when I'm not. And besides, this is a massive appeal to a motive, regardless. So, still, you're fucking wrong.
Because if you didn't notice, recently verse battles accepted all these feats. Like, we fucked Matthew up, and we got other people to agree with us. Even Kepler, Windar Chirion, Cosmic Comet, and I participated a tiny bit, but that was within the comments.
Well, that's an appeal to authority fallacy. Just because versus Balwicti accepted doesn't mean it's right. There's a lot of things that versus Battle Wiki has that is stupid and many people agree upon. Does it make it any more right or wrong? No, it doesn't. So why you would use this is beyond me because it's a fallacious point. Furthermore, everyone just bandwagon Kepley or however you say his name. Like, hardly anyone had any substantial reason to agreeing to it beyond his bandwagoning, which is versus Battle Wiki is known for. Matthew isn't any different either. He gets bandwagoned too, but for once he was actually right here. The upgrades were absurd and stupid, and I wouldn't be surprised if they literally get debunked in like what couple, well, I don't know, whatever time frame. But the point is, it's not going to last long, so you might as well not get your hopes up.
It was mostly Wind and Cosmic putting and Cap putting all the information that we have together. Next one, let's see. Ymir's magical guts poured out in a torrent so violent it threatened to flood all of creation. So this takes place after Vili, Ve, and Odin betray Ymir, and they stab him in, or Odin stabs him in the gut as shown in the mural, and he basically bleeds. And then they use his corpse to fashion Midgard. Okay, so his magical guts poured out in a torrent so violent it threatened to flood all of creation. So it was a cross-dimensional flood. Okay, he says it's literally just a flood of water, despite him literally saying his magical guts poured out in a torrent. Where's the fucking water, dumbass?
Okay, hold the fuck up. Did you just ask where's the water when literally it's shown that not Yggdrasil's, but Ymir's magical guts is representative of the water? You literally just asked that when that's on the scan itself. Holy fuck, bro. Bruh. Okay, so I'm gonna just let you continue on and ramble.
It's logically impossible for water to affect every cubic inch of the universe, much less destroy space and time. This at most just flooded the physical aspects and doesn't equate to 2C, going off that same logic. So I'd like to point out that it's possible that Ymir was created by the primordial ice and fires, right? He's similar to Uranus, right? He existed in the magical void, or the void of everything, like before everything, named Gunungiga, right? Now this void was literally what it was, void of everything, and he was the first being to ever come into existence. And in fact, he grew so big that he grew even bigger than the dimensions themselves, right? So his guts, it would be logical for them to spill out and flood almost every other dimension.
Okay, like the thing is, you do realize that flooding something isn't quantifiable for AP whatsoever. If I flooded a planet, that doesn't really give me a tier. If I flood in like an entire fucking galaxy, like literally just flood a galaxy, that's not really destroying shit. That's affecting it, sure, but not in a quantifiable way.
Clearly wasn't a destructive flood either, as literally there were giants who survived this through being on a boat. This further proves the absurd nature of this claim and why it's simply unquantifiable. So you try to preface this on giants, yet you realize literally only 2 survived, right? You know that, right? It was the king, I forgot his name, sorry, and his wife, and they repopulated when they reached Jotunheim, being as they found new lands, right? Despite the flood, they had to build anew, okay? And they then repopulated that way. So it's not unquantifiable.
It is, because water doesn't destroy shit. It's like flooding an entire continent. It doesn't mean I destroyed the continent. It just means that it's covered in water. So literally just common sense debunks your entire notion. And this entire argument while it's at it. So, you're still wrong. So yeah, you can still do whatever you want with that, but you're still just objectively and logically wrong.
The threat to destroy literally everything. Conclusions: the world tree and its 9 worlds are not 2 2C-sized, and at the very most, a 4A-sized. Kratos and other comparable beings aren't universal or higher, at best multi-solar system level, and all feats you support them of this level is misinterpreted. The only thing that's misinterpreted is you, okay, and your knowledge. You clearly have lack of that, and you're clearly inept and incompetent.
Wow, I love that ad hominem, Kratos. Really nice. Just like the character himself gets angry very easily. But on a serious note, no, I'm not inept, and nor am I retarded. For some reason you fail to lack common sense. Like, or either that common sense or just like how to scale. Which, given my actual debate with you, yeah, you don't know jack shit about dimensions or anything. So I'm not surprised you would think that me of all people is dumb. Like they say, man, don't bite the dick that feeds you, bro.
And you're oblivious to the real feats and the real context behind all these messages. Or not messages, but yeah, messages, texts, quotes, statements, director statements confirming the statements that you tried to debunk, for example. So the only person that is misinterpreting things is you. Now for the original stuff. Yep, they did create the universe. Yep. Actually, it was only those two right there. Right? He's trying, those two right there, Uranus and, I'm sorry if I'm wrong, Seto, or Aurea, something like that. She hits him, his helmet falls off, and then the universe comes from his literal body, as you can see in his skin right there in armor. So, it was only two. And they weren't sparring either. They were completely bloodlusted and they were fighting for supremacy over the universe.
No. Literally, the universe wasn't a thing, but when they were fighting, it was literally just a void. Literally, their fighting is what caused the universe to be a thing. They didn't directly create the thing. They just literally created it as a result of their fighting. So regardless, this isn't a direct feat, and it only comes from them as a collective, as I stated. Like, I'm not denying that they created the universe. I'm just saying that they did this as a collective, and it wasn't individual, or basically it wasn't directly created by them. So yeah, it's universal, sure, but only when they're collectively, not really separate. So yeah, I'm not completely denying the universal feat. It's just, it's not as impressive as you think it is. Point is.
So you're wrong. The debunk was horrible. He created the concept of time when he was born. It actually didn't say hundreds of years. It said it felt like an eternity. Felt like. And the feelings don't equate to the real means. So just because someone says it feels like eternity or hundreds of years doesn't literally mean that it lasted that long or equated to that amount of time. The literal quote was, it felt like an eternity. That's a retarded debunk.
Actually, funny enough, this is one thing this is that one partial thing I will concede to. Someone pointed out that I posted the wrong scan, which I'll admit to. I kind of did, but my argument still stands on the notion that Kratos didn't create time, and the reason for it is, like you said yourself, literally, the feeling doesn't really equate to what's actually happened. Hell, people, like, kept on Versatile could literally use that statement to suggest that there was no time when they were fighting, when you yourself literally agrees that the notion that they felt like it was an eternity literally debunks that notion. So, yeah, you're kind of literally helping me, whether you realize it or not. Yeah. Okay, so continue on.
argument of ad nauseam. Like, we've constantly fucking debunked this retard, and it's constantly been discussed and debunked multiple times, and was even recently accepted on verse battles.
I hope you realize that's not how ad nauseam works. It only works when the opponent is repeating, when the opponent is repeating the same claims in an active debate. I'm not actively debating you and repeating the same claims over and over. So that's not how ad nauseam works, my dude. And furthermore, you're using appeal to authority yet again. Just because Versatile Wiki accepts it doesn't mean that it's fact. And furthermore, literally, like I said beforehand, how the Greeks and Norse interpreted time was so much lesser than how we do nowadays. It's not even, it doesn't even count. Like, bro. So, point is, like, regardless, no matter which way you look at it, Kratos didn't create time, and if we were to assume that he did, it's not the same. It's not like the same type of time that we know nowadays. As like I said, they viewed it differently than how we do it now. AKA, they weren't even fully aware of its implications or anything. So still, this is not even. You're still wrong, regardless.
Say death to the author simply because word of God, source says it doesn't make it true. When their own work doesn't show this, or when it contradicts an official source's tweet, is essentially nonsense. Okay, so you're wrong. The fallacious argument of death to the author would imply that she is contradicting something. No, she's already backing up source information from the games and from guides. That's not death to the author.
Like I said, death to the author is applicable when it's just outright not shown in the work, or it's just outright proven wrong. By your same logic, Elder God Demon Bane is like not even out-reversal just because the creator said so. And this isn't really contradicted in the, well, it's contradicted in the work, but still, that's death to the author right there. And as I pointed out, like, nothing really suggests that time was created, as you pointed out. Literally, the only thing that quote-unquote proves it was it felt like an eternity, which even then, a feeling doesn't equate to what's actually happening. So, regardless, at all points you look at, this is death to the author. It's not applicable. Regardless.
You're misusing fallacious arguments to try and suit your own narrative. Yeah, the entirety of the heavens, actually, yeah. Okay, so here goes to appeal to reality as well. So I'd like to take note that in God of War 1, Ares sends Kratos to his own pocket dimension, and we see a swirling galaxy and stars in the background. If you want to argue that those stars and galaxies were illusions, it doesn't matter and it's irrelevant. For Ares, if let's say it's an illusion, for Ares to know what a galaxy and stars look like, he would have to take note and see them firsthand and have the knowledge of them in his own respective universe to be able to create an alternate dimension with those in them. So even if it's an illusion or not, it doesn't matter. It still backs up that there are galaxies and stars and solar systems within the Greek pantheon. And like I said before, you're trying to go based off of reality, which is retarded. You can't.
So, I already established that appeal to reality is an actual fallacy, and it's something that you just actually made up yourself, as it has no logical substance to it, and plus, to like shoot yourself into the leg even further, it wasn't made by a philosopher whatsoever. So, no matter which way you look at it, appeal to reality, in quotes, is not even a fallacy, it's just a stupid, mute thing that doesn't even remotely contradict my point. And furthermore, like I said beforehand, you do realize that, like, even the Norse and Greeks had like quote unquote galaxies. It just wasn't the same size as ours, as it was limited in scope. Even like, you do realize that even like other religions at the time that were even in close proximity to them did have knowledge of galaxies, but it just wasn't the same size as ours. Hell, some other fucking religions such as Shintoism had like galaxies infinite in size when we know it's not infinite. That was due to their within their mythology, yeah, it's infinite, but we actually know it isn't, so that just shows limited knowledge on the cosmology of our universe. So again, I point out the fact that it's the same premise here. They have no true scope of the universe, and nothing really presents that as well. So as I said, you're still wrong, and furthermore, my point still stands. And also, I should note that Earth on God of War is like literally a flat thing. It's not even like a spherical thing. So if we want to go off your same logic that the fact there's a quote unquote galaxy and stars in his pocket dimension, okay, then why didn't the designers make the planet spherical? Or why did they like literally just why did they make the cosmology literally just based around Norse, like with hardly any differences, if not any? So your point is mute even by your own logic. That's kind of sad, actually. Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. So go on.
Base reality. You can't base fiction off of reality. You can't appeal to reality.
Okay, but you do realize that like fiction literally derives from reality, right? You do realize that like literally what we have in reality translates to fiction for the most part. Why else do you think every fiction and its mother has a third dimension, or aka a universe? Why else do you think that every verse runs on the laws of physics, etc, etc, etc? Using appeal to reality in quotes still is something you can do, even if we were to assume it was a fallacy, which it isn't by definition, as I explained. So you're still wrong, even if we use the quote unquote appeal to reality bullshit that doesn't exist by any logical means.
I've actually never made that claim, and I don't know anyone who makes that claim. We actually use that claim to prove speed, not AP.
I've seen people use it before on Google Plus, where someone claimed that like fucking there was a high universal feed because he lit up an infinite plane, infinite kinetic energy, therefore high universal. But that was their logic, whatever. I decided to just debunk it because, well, stupid for all intensive reasons. But even then, I never stated that you made this claim. Hell, this video wasn't even directed towards you, as I was just speaking in general. So I understand why you reply, but why you would feel the need that I'm trying to actively respond to you is beyond me. I already got my fair share of stomping you in the debate, so I don't need to even bother with you anymore, because you're not worth my time, except for now.
Okay, so here, Gaia, the literal narrator of the series, well, not the series, my bad, the games, literally stated that, I'm trying to remember. In the distance, the great light of Helios illuminated all of the underworld, and the underworld was confirmed to be infinite, or, immeasurable, whatever, infinite, by, one of the directors, and then Corey Barlog backed up the director's word.
That still doesn't debunk my point at all whatsoever. That doesn't change the fact that energy, if an energy was to travel through an infinite plane, it would never ever reach the plane's end, as the plane is infinite and energy's kinetic energy, well, not kinetic energy, but kinetic movement is limited. It's not infinite whatsoever. It's like, literally, so basically what would just happen, like I literally pointed in the video, the energy would just be infinitely expanding and it will never reach the end. So regardless, this doesn't really prove you right whatsoever. In fact, you just glossed over my point. So this isn't infinite speed and it's not even universal. So it's a double fucking X here. It's just not right at all. By any logical or substantial point, it's wrong.
And I'd like to point out again, we don't use that claim to prove if it's universal or not. That's to prove speed. Lack of knowledge. Massive wanking is a misconception out the ass. So, altogether, in my conclusion, you don't know shit, you don't know anything about the series, and you're misusing and taking things out of context to suit your own narrative and your own baseless claims. You tried using fallacious arguments, you misused those said fallacious arguments while trying to use them. It came down to ad nauseam and straw men for the last claim, for example. Yeah. That's all, folks. Kratos. Peace out.
Holy shit, this dude went ham. So let's get into the fact that this dude just steals my fucking This dude just steals my entire fucking intro. Or not intro, outro. But oh shit. I didn't even mean for this ad to play, but yeah, this dude steals my entire outro. Wow, what a fucking stealer. But okay. So let me get to my conclusions. Clearly you lack knowledge and, well, logical reasoning, common sense apparently, how water works, and it's not inherently destructive. You don't know how to be 2C, aka you don't know that universes have to be separated by space and time for it to be quantifiable as a different universe. You clearly lack knowledge, or you just completely ignore Norse mythology, or mythology in general, in favor of your own narrative. And furthermore, you don't know how fallacies work. You don't even know what a fallacy is to even call it. Hence the quote-unquote appeal to reality bullshit that doesn't even exist in any source. So with that said, you're a very special person. I'll give you that. When I first debated you, yeah, I was in for a show. Well, I thought at least. But after this, yeah, I can definitely confirm that you're definitely not worth my time anymore. So with that said, guys, it's SuperBearNeo, peace the fuck out. And for any of you fanboys of fucking Kratos, aka referring to Zek and any other motherfucker, you can send this to him. I don't give a hell. I don't give a fuck at all. Just whatever. So yeah, that's it. SuperBearNeo, peace the fuck out. Be sure to look out for who can defeat Sora, cause I'm gonna make that sometime. Anyways, that's really it. See you motherfuckers. I'm out.